talk to them on your own.
We'll call the meeting back to order, no decisions were made.
No meeting.
Okay.
When we get the terminal building, we need to get some signs on it, I'm guessing, on the
Okay.
doors and maybe the sign outside. Put like it's the airport terminal building, entry through the east door, and whatever code we're gonna use to get in, just so people kinda know what it is. I think for
Okay.
so long it's been a private office, we'd be better off knowing.
So Rick Rogers was telling me that somehow there's a number that's the airport number that only pilots know. When they come in, they can key it, and it'll open the door. I don't know if that's right.
We can do that. We can use the FAA frequency number or the runway numbers or the AWAS frequency. There's some options we have to, Keep it secure.
122.8 is like almost universal now.
That's what I received from K Camp last night. And it's about as clear as mud to me, but
Yeah, that building's older than 1992.
So if I read this right, it's saying that we have to have accessibility for,
but is it it's not a public building.
Well, but it says, facilities built before the ADA went into effect in January of '92 are not required to be made structurally accessible if they can provide non-structural program accessibility to their services, programs, and activities. That was built before 1992, and I mean, it is accessible. I think everyone has in the back of their head the bathroom.
right?
But it is accessible, and because it was built before '92, there are other means by which can be implemented via the courtesy car
Right.
to accommodate that.
Right.
And I mean, this is just a brief reading,
Right.
just off the top of my, head, that I think that should be okay. Because it does have the ramp.
It's not a public restroom.
Right.
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 It's a public building, but not a public restroom.
Well, it's a limited use facility, is what it is.
Good deal. You got one of these, right?
Yep, I do. I don't have anything else, I guess. Anything for me?
Thank you for the heads up.
You bet.
Have a good Christmas. I know
You
I'll
too.
see you before then, but you can come up, Erica. How
Hello,
are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
Good.
I am here for the health department. Milo had hoped to come to meet everybody, but she ended up having a patient, so she will schedule something for next year to come up and meet with you guys and do all that. But so the only thing I really had, I made copies for everybody if you want to look at it, but before Mila left, she applied for a workforce development grant from KDHE. So it's basically kind of the same format as the rest of our grants. It's a pass-through grant from CDC. But the money does come to the county, and then the county distributes it to the hospital. So I need commissioner's signature on this grant agreement. It was approved for $61,330.15. It's actually a 5-year grant, and we can use all the money up front, or you spread it out over the 5 years. The way Milo put the budget in was to use so much each year to hire a part-time person to help in county health. It's really not a one-person job. It's quite overwhelming, to be honest. So hopefully, we have an ad out now to try to get another nurse in there to help her. So this would help cover the cost. It will not cover the whole thing. The rest of it will come out of the hospital budget, but this at least will help cover. And then it can also be used for like education and that kind of stuff, maintaining licenses, that kind of stuff. So. And it's very, very flexible as far as how we move the budget around. She had budgeted like $21,000 for the first year, but we can move that around and do whatever we need to.
So this has already been approved then?
It has already been approved. She applied for it, I think, last July. And then it was approved not too long after that. It's just taken KDHE a while to get their stuff in order with CDC to send out the grant agreement, so. And then there's also a place to sign that say that we comply with some of the sexual harassment and different harassment and that kind of stuff. So,
You want that extra one sign then?
yes.
Okay.
You'll need to make a motion.
No, it's already been approved. It's just a sign.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know who wants to sign this, but stating that we are compliant with sexual harassment policies.
You wanna sign that since you're attorney?
Does it have a designation?
Nope, it just says signature and printed name, so
That would be him.
that would be you.
He's HR.
You knew that was coming, right?
Yeah. That's why I was holding my hand there.
Oh, goodness.
I believe that is all I had, unless you guys have questions for us. We're slowly getting things put back together after Milo's departure. So.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
You have nothing more for us? Huh? Okay. Well, hey, have a good Christmas.
All
We'll see
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. I haven't heard anything, but I live in a bubble.
So do I.
Oh, wow, I'd heard it. I can't believe I heard it.
You're in the clique.
Yeah.
Trish is on her way in.
Cool. Hey,
Good morning.
morning.
Did you just hear?
It was in and out. Okay, so the Olson team was here to do our triennial compliance review for the transit department. They had sent out a 20-page thing we had to complete. And then they sat down with me for 2 hours and we went through the whole thing. So that was quite fun. They reviewed the van to make sure that the drivers are doing their daily checks, cycling the lift, make sure that we have all the notices posted in the van correctly, make sure that we have all the stickers, our signage, make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. They did find some things that we are not, and so there's some things that we're going to have to change. The first one was we didn't have a Department of Transit sticker for the back, so I've got that now and I'll get that on. The other thing is our wording is not correct on the van. It is supposed to say public transit or public transportation. Ours just says Cheyenne County Transportation. I am in review with Renee with KDOT to find out if that was approved when we ordered the van, because they don't come that way. They come, when you order a van, it comes with the wording on it.
Already, okay.
So I'm trying to find out if that was approved when we got it. If not, we're gonna have to put public transportation on it. So we can either put that maybe above the wording down below, or we're gonna have to change the whole wording.
Could it be a sticker just like that one?
Well, it's gonna have to be big, because our van says Cheyenne County Transportation with the phone number, and it needs to say public transportation with the phone number. So that's part of their guidelines.
Well, and do
So those are two things with the van. I'm working on the one to find out if we were approved ahead of time. Where we're an older van, I'm kind of hoping that's the case, but I'm waiting on Renee to get back with me, and I haven't heard from her yet. So, going through here, let's see. So there's some policies not in our rider handbook. Our rider handbook hasn't been updated since we started the program in 16, 17. And I know things have changed since then. So this is a good thing, so that way we can get our handbook up to date. The first one is we don't have a conceal and carry policy. The guidelines are kind of vague. It just says we're supposed to follow statutorial guidelines. So what the gal with Heather with Olson did say is she's going to send me like sample verbiage for all of this. And there is a guide that KDOT puts out that I've gotten some verbiage from, but this is one I'm not sure on. It's very vague. So I'm waiting for Heather to send that out, and then I'll get with Leslie on that verbiage to add to our rider handbook. Okay. The next one is, let's see here. So in our rider handbook, we cannot deny someone a ride if we cannot secure their wheelchair. We have in our handbook, they can transfer to a seat, something like that, but we need to state in there the actual language that we cannot deny them a ride. It doesn't state that. As far as service animals.
Don't we have something to secure the wheelchairs?
Yes, we do, but there are some wheelchairs, like we accommodate everybody that we can.
Right,
But there are some that have like motorized scooters, those kind of things.
but you can't secure.
But we can't say no because it's public.
Okay.
But we can ask them to transfer, and if they aren't able to or can't, then that's just their choice, I guess you want to say.
And you could say no?
No, we cannot say no.
Okay, so you still have to give.
The
them
only
that.
way we can say no to any type of rider is if they don't fall within our policies, like our hygiene policy or some of those other policies that we could deny a ride for, but we cannot say no due to their wheelchair or their motorized device. Okay. We need to add a statement regarding service animals. We have something in there about service animals, but we don't have the actual verbiage that states that drivers and dispatchers accept the rider's statement that the passenger's animal is a service animal. We'll have to put that in there, which I've added that, but I'm like, again, I'm just kind of hoping to bring it all to you so you can approve it all at the one time. So in our handbook, it states that we have limited assistance. And we don't have anything that says if they ask to use the lift, they can do that. I mean, we offer it to everybody, but there's some stuff in there that we need to put about personal assistance to our riders, that they have to be able to get on the lift by themselves, you know, because we do limited service. So there's some other additional verbiage in there that we need to add. Since our policies were done in 16, things have been updated. We can't state standard or common wheelchair. And we actually have that in our handbook, so I've got to take that word standard or common out. So, something we need to change. We don't have a bicycle policy. We have in our policies about personal items, personal bags, that they're responsible for that stuff. But we actually need to add something regarding bicycles, which in the past we have transported a bicycle. And we haven't had any problems, but we just need to get it in our handbook.
Can you get one of those things that they put the bike on the front like? the
Well, we
horses
have
have?
enough room. We haven't had any issues with transporting them. I mean, I suppose if we got multiple, we need to do something, but we just need to get something in our rider handbook about bicycles so that it's clear. Okay, this one, we don't have anything in our employee handbook or in our rider handbook. So employee, I mean overall county, and in our rider handbook about procurement and standards of conduct with FTA funds or just procurement of financed funds. So this is one that's going to have to go back to our handbook. And in reading the guidelines, it doesn't actually say that it has to be specific to FTA funds, but we've got to have more verbiage in there regarding procurement of funds. And then also with that, it asks, if the agency's code of ethics and or standard of conduct explicit with regard to how potential personal conflicts of interest are to be reported, to whom, and how those situations will be resolved. There's nothing in our handbook that states if there's conflict or that, how it will be resolved. So, this is also one that I'm hoping she sends us verbiage on so that, so that we can get it right in our handbook. Because like I said, it needs to actually be regarding you guys and employees within the county. So, because it probably regarding all, I would assume it's regarding all federal, I mean, this is FTA, but even other federal grants, I assume that probably needs to be there.
Probably should already be. Obviously.
Our maintenance log and plan is fine. We have the mileage, every 3,000 miles, we change the oil, have it serviced. She just said that we need to actually put that in our maintenance plan. We don't have that specifically in there. Since we're doing that, we just need to add it. So I'll get that in there also. Two minor things. One thing, since we are federally funded and it's an emergency, it can be used for emergency purposes, we are required to have a child, infant, or car seat. Right now, we are just using my old one until it expires, but we will have to purchase one. I checked with Cody, he does not have one on hand. They just borrow if they need one. Mm-hmm. I checked with Ryan, the ambulances are capable of carrying that stuff, so they don't have anything. I checked with the health department, I was trying to cover all bases, and they don't have anything either. Marlo said she had been thinking about something like that. But we are required to have one, so that's gonna be an expense from here out that we're gonna have to have. I know it seems careless because they expire, you know,
Is it
he's gonna be
2
sitting
years?
back here.
How do you get one that, I mean, some kids are smaller and.
Well, so the one that I have that I use with Shayla is convertible. It goes from like 8 pounds and you can set it reversible all the way up to like 40 pounds. It's like front facing. Those are just guesstimates, I'm thinking.
Right.
And that covered it because it does carry infant and child. So that's what I'm thinking. And they don't have to be expensive, but just know. And Cody said he would be willing to work with us on it, since he really probably should have one too, just in case there is an emergency, you know, and they have to transport a kid or child. But just know in the future that's something that we're gonna have to have.
I think about every 2 years you have to.
They're a little longer than that.
Okay.
I don't
been
want to
a
quote
few
it because I
years.
can't remember.
3 to 5. I think.
Yeah, and I think it depends. I mean, we don't have to get I mean, you can get crazy and get really expensive, but
Right.
for this, I think we just have to have the basic, what's gonna cover the deals.
Okay.
So with me being a dispatcher, I have to be in the drug plan, which we didn't know about, so I've signed those. We found that the overall drug prevention policy for transportation was not approved, so I need you guys to sign that.
You guys okay with signing it?
It's been in place,
Okay.
just one of those things I guess we've missed along the way. So she told me once she sent me all the sample verbiage, then we'd have 30 days, so sometime in January, to get compliant. And if there's anything that we're still working on, I just need to keep in communication with her. Like I've already updated some things already and sent them to her, so we're clear on that. If we don't get compliant within 60 days, then it can get
Nasty.
nasty. But
So
there's nothing that I don't think we can't get
Right.
taken care of.
the drug plan is like drug testing and
Yes.
such? Okay.
Yes.
That's- I just wanted
Since
to
we
make sure.
we are in involvement with the movement of people,
Right,
we have to be
just wanted to make sure.
sound, I guess.
All of the drivers have been in that.
Of course.
Yeah, the drivers have been. I just didn't realize that the dispatcher had to be part of the pod too. So, trying to think if there was anything else. There is one thing with advertising that they're checking on. KDOT requires that we're supposed to be advertising in the yellow pages, which we are not. But it was my understanding and some other, and Heather with Olson said this too, there were some other agencies that they thought we had dropped that. So she's checking on that too. If that's the case, we'll have to start advertising in the yellow pages. And there are, I think it was in like the Northwest directory, there is a place for public transit. So I would just put us in there. So that way if somebody
Need it.
does get a hold of a phone book and needs public transportation, we are listed there. So, as you can see, I have quite a file here. I think that's everything. Like I said, I've already gotten some things taken care of. I'm just really waiting on her suggestions on some of the deeper things that I'm not real sure about on how to word them. And then once I get that, I mean, there were 3 people here. 2 of them are out of Denver and 1 was out of Kansas City. And they go all over. He said they'd been in Pittsburgh. I mean, they travel the whole state, so they're busy, especially this time of year. I'm sure they're trying to get in as many
Right.
as they
Before the
can
new year.
before
Yeah.
the end of the year and whatnot. So, like I said, I'm waiting on Renee for the actual decals on that, and hopefully I get a good answer and we don't have to completely change it, but we'll just see what happens. So, I just wanted to let you know how that went and where we stood on doing our compliance.
Thank you.
Thank
you. A lot of hard work, it looks like.
Yeah, anytime you're dealing with federal and state government, it's fun. So, but I really enjoy working with the transportation department, and it's kind of become my soft spot. And the drivers and the riders all
Good.
are important to me, so, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yep, thank
very
you.
much. Have a good Christmas. Come on up, bud. You okay if he comes up? Okay.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. How are you, Eddie?
Boxes is mine.
The one that's tipping.
Ben's, it's Christmas time. I assume there's some good in there.
Willie said he didn't want his.
All right, number 1, I'm here to ask for money. So, our numbers have been down a little. We've got 1 vacancy in assisted living and 6 in the long-term care side. And that's been that way for a few months, and so that messes with your cash flow, obviously, you're all well aware of that. And so we'd like to ask for $125,000 to be forwarded into our account, whatever avenue. That's Scott's deal, he knows where that.
How would you, 125,000, is
Yeah.
that what you said? How are they on their budget on as far as that?
Fine, yeah.
Okay.
Does that go to First National Bank, I think?
She usually cuts you a check, doesn't she?
Oh. I don't know.
I believe that's what she's
Okay.
done in the past. anyway.
Okay. Now, I've talked to you earlier about redoing apartment 6. And, I've got a bid, James
Just a
Mellinger.
second. Do they need to make a motion?
Yes,
For
it
creation?
is, sorry.
Excuse me,
You know, you're just, want to get this done.
stick for me.
I move that we transfer 125,000 to the
CCV.
one line item to another.
CCV.
All right, CCV.
Okay, I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to transfer 125,000 to CCV. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Doing this properly gave me a chance to properly thank them, so
Very good.
I have the two-way deal.
You know how to work the system.
Getting good at it.
So anyway, apartment 6, there's nobody in there at the moment, and we need to replace a door, a patio door, and James is gonna put a regular door in there and frame it in and, you know, close it up and make it a little more weatherproof. James Mellinger. And he's given us a bid on redoing the kitchen in that apartment. And the numbers are gonna be $2,400 for the door and about $43 for the kitchen area. But they're doing grant work on that, so that might totally be covered or partially covered, so I don't want any action. I just want you to be aware that that's what we're doing. And I talked to you earlier about replacing some flooring in the long-term care side. And I did recently get a bid, and it's for $40,603.52. And we, there again, don't need any action. I just want it on your radar because our board hasn't approved it yet either. I just got that bid, and so we meet on the 20th, and so I just want you to be aware of what's going on there. Because there would be a down payment of $25,937.15. And to keep that ball moving, if our board approves it, why, maybe that could be paid at your meeting on the 29th, so you can go ahead and get the stuff ordered. Is that doable?
I think it has to
If it's
be.
in your budget,
Well, is it?
How much was it?
40,652.62.
Yes, yes.
well, there'll be no problem. Cut the
Eddie?
check with it.
No.
Your other
No.
number was
We could have one
20,937.15.
ready.
Is that correct?
You guys can.
The what?
The other number was 20,937.25. Okay, thank you.
Would be the down payment portion.
Eddie, if you get, you're looking at approval from your board.
Yes.
So if you get approval, why don't you get ahold of Scott, and then Scott
Okay.
will make the check up. and-
Okay, all right.
Well, and then you guys would have to approve it at the
Right.
next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that way it's in place if we
Yeah.
decide.
Yep.
Right.
It's hard keeping everything in the proper order sometimes.
That way
Stay in
we
your
don't-
lane, Eddie.
And we need to replace the alarm system in those apartments. Over the decades, some of that equipment has been commingled and it's not compatible. And one thing, when an alarm goes off, they don't know which apartment it is, and that's not good. And, because if it happens at night, shouldn't be knocking on everybody's door. Is it you? Is it you? So anyway, I think that needs, then there again, I thought I'd have that number several days back, but I don't have it yet. But it's something I feel just is gonna have to be done.
And
that's for the alarm.
It'll go out to the main office there.
Well, it actually will call dispatch. Because it's fire and health. There's two alarm systems there. So it would actually go to dispatch. And then they're looking to replace the camera system in the long-term care side. And, because that equipment up there, well, it doesn't have enough cameras, number one. And it's, you know, it's old equipment and you can't really see, you know, on the monitors, you can't really tell what's happening. And there again, I thought I would have another bid a couple days ago on that, but the bid we have is like about 22,000, so it's a lot of money, but there again, you know, that's the way the world is now. You need the cameras in place for liability, so that, you know, it's just different now. And, so I would strongly recommend moving forward with that, but like I say, I don't have a second bid in, but I just want that on the table, moving forward.
Ouch.
Well, I don't want you to think we're loafing.
No, I know better than that.
So, any other questions? That's,
So how long you been down at 6 in the long term?
oh, 3.5 months. So that makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
We did, where we will be bumping our private pay room on the long-term care side, January 1, from $250 a day to $280, so that'll be another, $900 per private pay, and there's usually 9 private pay, that varies, but so that will generate some more revenue. So we're trying to be proactive on that side, but that's,
She is gonna run that 125,000 right now.
very good. So, you know how that is with price increases, you hate to do it, but we just feel that it's in our best interest to, because Medicare rates, and they've been bumping those all the time, kind of a cost of living deal all the time, so we just felt as a board that we needed to kind of keep that in, moved up the scale a little bit also, so. All right, Willie?
Like I said, thank you for all the work you do.
Absolutely,
Well, I
thank you.
appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for all that hard work.
We have a lot of that all the way through the county.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of stuff to keep track of. And I
A lot of
don't,
people donate a lot of time.
yeah. And I don't know anything different on the roof
I
situation.
did get a check, but I haven't had a chance to go through it to see what goes where, how much goes where, because
Oh.
there's multiple.
Okay. Because there's been some bills dribbling in that, as Craig has done some of those window repairs and stuff, and I think Chris has been sorting that out.
Right.
Keep that in the right slot. But at some
I don't know
point,
whether it's all the village complex that's on it, or if it's some of the museum stuff and other things, so I gotta go.
see, I
through.
don't know either. I do know there's 53 pages of stuff. And it's confusing because I know some of it is for siding, and I know the museum church has had they're gonna redo some siding on that. So it's hard to sort through 53 pages of actually what is
Yeah.
what building. I guess what I would like from K-Camp, if they would highlight those roof lines, and so I know what they're replacing. Because on the apartments, those run east and west, and I know in the past they've just done the north slope. And I think that's what he was aiming at again this time. Well, that's pretty easy to figure out, but on the assisted living building and most of that over on that other long-term care side, there's a lot of different facing slopes, and there's angles,
Yep.
and so they know what they're gonna pay, and you don't wanna just give that to the roofing company to bid on, because they might miss something.
Yep.
And so I don't know, what I'd like to see is
Right, we need
with
to-
that just highlight, okay, what roof are you doing?
Right,
And the same with guttering and fascia too. See, I'm not sure he didn't look at guttering or fascia that day I was up there, that original day. And so I don't know. Now, there's fascia and guttering on, in the 53 pages, but I don't know whether it, I don't know what building it goes to, whether it's even with that complex. So that would help us on that part. And they've sent 2 private contractors out 2 different times to go up there and check that roofing, and I don't understand that, why they've done that 2 different times. It's a third party.
He was still convinced that the roof was never replaced, but,
Did Randy get hold of you guys? Because I talked to him.
yeah.
Okay.
And it bothered me a little because they're up there in the roof with a crowbar prying stuff up. It wasn't leaking before, but I don't know what they did up there, but each one of them took a crowbar up there, a pry bar to peel stuff up. So I don't know if they're looking to see if, I don't know what they're looking for, but it bothers me that they're up there messing with the roof. Because you don't know what they're,
Liable to tear in them shingles.
I don't want to mess with asphalt shingles on my buildings, you know? So I don't know what they were doing. All I know is it wasn't leaking before, and whether they created leaks, it just bothers me that they had 2 different people. So there's something smoldering there that K-Camp isn't happy with, and I don't know what that is, but.
I assume they got it settled because it's in a check, so.
Okay. So I hope the fascia and guttering and stuff is included in it, and, you know, there's windows on the north end of the laundry room, and, you know, so I hope those little things are in there.
Is there a number you can call to get a breakdown on that?
Yeah,
So if you would pursue that from your end a little bit, that'd
Okay.
be good, because I'm kind of at a loss on how to
Gotcha.
move forward. I want it as simple as possible. So, thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Because Christmas is coming to a town near you. So
Yep. Hey,
get
have a good
ready.
day, Eddie. Thank you.
The top one here, you say?
Yeah. Come on in, or come on up, Steve.
Here you go.
Thank you.
So I'll jump right into it. I'll do this first. A while back, we had set up or put together an official MOU with, between Cheyenne County and Dundee County on the border bridge agreement. And Kent Anderson, the road supervisor up there, he got around to looking it over, and I don't know if he went before the commissioners or not, but he suggested, and I agree with him, to make the ownership 50-50, 50% Dundee County, 50% Cheyenne County, and then maintenance would still remain 100% Cheyenne County, and then the inspections and inspection cost would be 100% Dundee County. And what he pointed out was that if, in the event of an event that damaged the bridge, it would be easier, essentially it's gonna be easier to get any funding that might come about from FEMA if we're both partners or in ownership. So we'd be almost guaranteed at least at 50%, as opposed to where if it was just Dundee County and we were granted the award to do the repairs, but Dundee County had the ownership, we may not be able to get that, is my understanding, that funding, since we don't own it. But at least where we're 50% in ownership.
We're visited, yeah.
And I visited with Ryan a little bit about it, and he did agree essentially with that assessment. And so I would move that, I don't know if we need to rescind the prior MOU that we agreed on, and then.
Yeah, probably rescind the one from June 28th, I believe was the date on that one.
Because we did sign that, and then sent it on to Dundee County.
June 28th.
28th,
Let me look at that. Okay, around
I believe that was the, wasn't that the date on the previous one?
here. Yeah, let me see what I got here.
I got it right here. Yes, June 28th.
How many bridges are we looking at?
There's two along
Two.
that Tractor Road up there, yeah.
And we need a motion to
Rescind.
rescind the memorandum
I believe so. Is that correct?
Yeah, the
between Cheyenne
memorandum,
County and Dundee County,
right, dated June 28th.
dated June 28th.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to rescind June 28th vote on the memorandum. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
And then I move that we accept a memorandum between Cheyenne County and Dundee County on the 14th day of December 2023.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to enter an agreement with Dundee County on 50/50 split. This day, December 14th, 2023. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Specify 50% split on ownership and then
I mean, 100%.
100% on maintenance for Cheyenne County.
And
Move maintenance.
100% inspection on Dundee.
Is that bridge about done on 27, almost to Goodland?
I haven't been that way in a little while.
That's a federal, isn't it?
Oh, that's not ours?
Right, that's
State.
KDOT doing that, but, or whoever.
KDOT.
Looks like they're almost done.
Yeah, it's should be about finished up. I guess, and then the last item I had was, just the update on the expense. There's quite a bit on there. That was the gravel payments that went out.
Thank you.
You make them once a year?
Twice, usually
Twice.
June and
I
then,
was asking.
and then again at the end of the year. As far as parts, repairs on the Foley, that 3,800, that is mostly gonna be the oil injection pump. And there's a core with that that's around $800, so that'll go back. Probably next week. I believe Mark Polifka with Foley will be up next week. So we should get credited back for some of that. And then there was a mix of tires. The bulk of the tire were the 24.5s and the 22s on the gravel trucks and trailers. And then various repairs and services on vehicles. Wellborn, that's the galvanized post for the 911, the green road signs. We exhausted those. I think we only had one left, and we've got quite a few that are missing or broken. And Penco, that was for our low water crossing that we will be doing on Road 27 between C and D. That's gonna require a large amount of excavation, and we were concerned about getting into property, and then there may have been a need for easement, so that's where Penco came in and came up with a design on that too, to make sure we're doing it correctly, I guess, because it's not, a lot of the low water crossings that we have in the county are shallow and wide to begin with, but this comes down and drops into a steep creek channel, so there's gonna be a considerable amount of dirt work with that, and we just wanna make sure we're gonna, as far as just the safety end of it, for people traveling on that road, that it's gonna be done correctly.
Can we get some money from 911 to pay for those posts? Isn't that supposed to be
I have
used
to
for
talk to
equipment?
Eric on that after they've changed all that.